Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Mario Kart Global Offensive. It's the exciting game where players hop around in a circle on maps designed for competitive play. And strikingly not for players hopping around in a circle. My name's John Kendro, and I'm going to be your commentator for the world's first ever MKGO Grand Prix. We're going to have 5 impressive players on 4 incredibly famous maps, and most importantly, we're going to have a lot of fun. The rules are simple. Each player's goal is to finish 5 laps around every track. Scattered around the map are various items that each player can use to hinder their opponent's progress. Each player will receive a certain number of points after each race: 5 for first, 4 for second, 3 for third, 2 for fourth, and 1 for fifth. With all that out of the way, now it's time for us to meet the players.
What's your name?
Yo, I'm Dalton.
I'm Nick.
My name is Noah, but my boys, they call me Ball and Calvin because I ball.
What's up? My name's Brent.
Joe Avery.
What's your goal in this competition?
Oh, I'm here to win the whole thing.
What is your goal in this competition?
To whoop some ass and hit some fucking hops.
I'm here to make hops, take names, you know. I'd say I'm a pretty experienced hopper, so yeah, I think this is gonna go well.
How do you feel going into the first race on Cash?
You know, Cash, I feel like I have the best chance of beating Cash because from my hops around Cash, I feel like I just hit the Cash on point and get the Cash on joint. So I'm always thinking on that race, you know. One choke point, A main, that can be a choke point for mollies and grenades because it's super hard to get your speed in there and keep it quick, even without hazards in the way. But if you could hit those and then keep your crouches through the doors.
Alright, Nick, how do you feel going into the first race?
It's gonna be easy. These kids are trash.
How do you think you're gonna do overall?
It's gonna be easy. These kids are trash.
Okay.
I'm coming for the hot dog. He's my target going in.
You know, Cash, it's a great map. I think we're gonna have a great game. And you know what? I think I'm gonna do pretty well. I'm pretty confident in my ability to hold down spacebar.
How do you think you're gonna fare in the upcoming races?
We'll win all of them.
5 players all showing confidence. How exciting. Like you just heard in these interviews, the first map is going to be Cash, a staple in the competitive world of Counter-Strike. Then we'll head to Inferno, followed by Train, and last but not least, a Dust 2. At the end of all 4 races, we'll add up each player's points to determine our winner. But before we jump into it, let's take a look at our first track. Cash, a wonderfully green warehouse map with a simple layout and an even simpler track. Intern, why don't you show us how it's done? We start off in T-spawn and immediately head towards A main. Once you get out of A main, you make your way through A, back through Truck, past Z, into Tree Room, and then into B. Once you're here, it's a pretty simple conclusion. You go through B main, and then exit back into T-spawn to complete the lap. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Why don't we jump into the first race? And here we are on our first lap of Cash. Looks like our players are coming right out of the gate, ready to race. Making their way into A main. Looks like we've already got some people caught on the doorway. Oh, looks like Dalton has been caught on the box in A main, as the rest of our players, our lead player Brent, Nick close behind, make their way towards B. Looks like Brent got badly flashed and was hopping up against that wall there. Looks like Joe, Noah, and Dalton are going to be behind a little bit. Making their way towards B, hopping around. Looks like Joe has naded himself. That's not good. Might cost him later. Finally making their way into B and into B main. It's Dalton followed by Joe in last place. Looks like Nick is still in first, throwing a molly. Ooh, Brent was in that molly for a long time. That might cost him. Coming up here, looks like Nick and Noah are on to their second lap. Brent onto his second lap, followed by Dalton, and then followed up in 5th place by Joe. Looks like a molly is going to go down into A main, which is going to have to be waited out by Brent because he was too low health. That's going to really cost him because looks like Nick and Noah are getting really far ahead in this race. Here comes Dalton, Brent, and Joe coming out of A main, but Nick and Noah are already exiting B, which means they're about to start their 3rd lap while everyone else is still on their 2nd. Yep, here they come. Here's Noah with his start of his 3rd lap, followed by Nick. Brent's making his way through B main. He'll start his 3rd lap soon. Dalton, Joe, yeah, and it looks like Noah is already coming around B main to start his 4th lap along with Nick. Here comes Brent, starting his 3rd lap, making his way into A main, while Nick, coming through B main, is starting his 4th lap on this cash race. Yep, here comes Brent for his 4th lap, and looks like Noah is going to finish in 1st place here on cash. Here comes Dalton around for his 5th lap. Brent, Joe, making their way through A main. Nicholas coming in for a 2nd place. Not bad at all. Brent making his way through B main for a 3rd place finish. And here comes Joe about to start his 5th lap. Here he comes. Looks like he's stopped. Not sure why. Dalton coming in for his finish. It looks like Joe has decided instead of racing, he's going to shoot people. That's great. Looks like Dalton has finished in 4th place. I guess this means that Joe has been disqualified from the cash race as he goes down to a pistol shot. Why don't we throw it to our players to see what they thought of that race?
Alright. Minor setback. But I did get a lot of time in Inferno. This is the map I'm most confident on.
So you got 2nd in that first race. What happened there?
Bullshit.
Do you have a comment on the massacring of your fellow players at the end of that match?
I do not recall. Actually, what had happened was we was just chilling, and then actually one of them pulled out their gun first, so it was self-defense. That's what had happened was.
You know, 3rd place. Let's not last. So that's good. It's like middle of the pack, and you know I feel pretty good about that.
That was a nice 1st place victory on cash. How do you think you're gonna fare going into Inferno?
Well, let's see, Inferno is just a similar thing to cash. You know, you have part of the race where you can pull ahead and just not mess up your strafe and not have many challenges, but there's also certain places where you might mess up some more, like on you might be able to hit your head at the end of banana. That is a common choke point. But if I can manipulate my strategy of timing my hops right from CT all the way to halfway down banana, just to get that one hop right through the Inferno archway and not hit my head, then that is my strategy. It's all about manipulating.
How do you feel going into Inferno?
It's gonna be easy. Inferno is a skill-based map, unlike Cash, so I should come out on top.
How are you feeling going into the next race on Inferno?
Definitely not gonna take another L. There's no way.
How do you feel going into the next race?
Well, we got Inferno coming up, and you know, Inferno is a little bit trickier than Cash, but you know, it's trickier for all of us. So I think that there's potential that I could pull ahead here. Let's look at the standings after our first race. Looks like Noah's in the lead with 5 points in 1st place. Nicholas in 2nd place with 4 points. Brent in 3rd with 3 points. Dalton in 4th with 2. And Joe, who did not finish, in 5th place with 0 points. Anyway, our next map coming up is Inferno. So why don't we check out the track? Inferno brings us to a nice, beautiful countryside, perfect for a nice, relaxing, peaceful, and intense race. Intern, why don't you walk us through it? First, we start off by going from CT spawn through B. We quickly turn into banana, and this is where things get a little bit trickier than cash. 2 head hitter arches right there that you have to be careful to avoid, along with a tricky staircase that can stop your speed. Players will make their way up alt mid, and then into mid, and then through short A, past the A bomb site, into the arch, and then back to CT spawn to complete the lap. Well, let's not wait around any longer. Without further ado, here's Inferno. And they're off. Looks like our players, tightly packed, making their way towards banana. Molotov goes down. Doesn't look like it's going to affect everyone. Looks like right now our lead player is Nick, with Dalton taking up the rear. Big flashbang there. Looks like it caught both Noah and Brent out. Both getting caught on the walls there. Dalton making his way up from behind. Nick's already making his way all the way up alt mid, with our other players close behind. Looks like we're making our way into A here. Nick making his way up A into the archway. Looks like Joe's in second place, Noah in third, Brent and Dalton very close in fourth and fifth. Looks like Nick is going to start his second lap, closely followed by Joe and Noah, who are also starting their second lap, and then of course, Brent and Dalton starting their second lap. Looks like Nick is already making his way towards banana, although Noah's gotten a lot of speed, he might pass Nick. Looks like Brent's throwing down a Molotov there, Dalton close behind. Here's Nick making his way into banana. Noah, like I said, with a lot of speed. Looks like he has in fact passed Nick, as well as the fact that Nick totally hit his dome on that archway. Brent and Dalton taking up the rear still. Noah speeding up alt mid. Looks like he's gonna take the front run there. Nick's a little close behind, but still a sizable distance between the two. Looks like Joe and Brent making their way up alt mid as Nick starts his third lap. Of course, Noah, already on his third lap, is making his way already towards alt mid, just behind Dalton. Looks like Dalton might get lapped here. Joe and Brent starting their third lap. Looks like Noah starting his fourth lap. Dalton there starting his third. Looks like Nicholas is making his way up alt mid to start his fourth lap as well. On banana, Noah close behind Brent and Joe, who are both on their third lap still. There goes Nick starting his fourth lap. And here comes Brent starting his fourth lap. And there comes Noah starting his fifth. Joe with his fourth. This is going to be pretty close, actually. Looks like Nick is actually being closely followed by Brent, especially since he just hit his head on that arch again. Looks like Noah is coming down, very close behind. I don't think anyone's going to be able to catch him, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes Nick coming up alt mid, and here comes Brent close behind, except with a lot more speed than Nick has. Nick's rounding his way around A, Brent close behind. They're both going to come through the arches, and they're both onto their last lap. This is crazy close. Looks like Brent takes the lead. Oh, but he hits his head, and now I don't think there's anything he can do. I think that Nick is just going to be too fast. Nick's been pretty consistent this whole time. I don't think he's going to make any major mistakes that will cause him to lose his position. Looks like Noah finishes first once again. And Brent rounding A. Here comes Nick.
Done.
I finished.
Joe's done.
No way.
There's no way you did 5.
No way. You did 4. You did 4. You did 4.
Looks like there's been a little confusion, folks. Brent comes in for the third place, and Dalton's taking his final lap to secure his place in fourth. Looks like Joe, once again, has gotten either confused or has just refused to finish the race. So, yeah, Dalton finishing in fourth place. Let's throw it to our players to see what they think.
So how did you feel about that Inferno race?
It's bullshit, man. Bullshit. I get it next time, though. I swear.
So that was a pretty rough race on Inferno. How do you feel going into train?
Okay, so these warm-up rounds, I'm telling you, I'm feeling good right now. This is my moment. I'm going after Hot Dog. I'm beating him. This is my race.
Another first place victory on Inferno. How do you feel going into Train?
Well, Train is one of my favorite maps to jump around. I like the route for the track. It's a pretty fun route. The way you jump across the trains. I feel like the jumping in general won't be that hard, but it'll be pretty easy to mess up when it comes to grenades, especially on the way to B, because you've got hallways where it's basically unavoidable if there's any hazards in the way or anything like that. And keeping your speed at the end of the upper part of the path to B, that'll be hard to do. Going to the left could work, but going straight could also work. It really depends.
Well, you see, Train is incredibly difficult, and these scrubs will not be able to keep up with me, so I'll win.
How do you feel going into the race on Train?
You know, Train, super cool, fun map for hops. So, you know, I think that this is my round. This is my round to prove myself. I think I'm gonna get above third this time.
How are you feeling going into the next race on Train?
I am not sure if I will finish a race.
Let's take a look at the standings. Noah is still in first place with 10 points, Nick in second place with 8 points, Brent still in third with 6 points, Dalton still in fourth with 4 points, and Joe in fifth place with a whopping 0 points. Regardless, our next track is Train, so why don't we take a look at it? Train is a map that's all about trains. It's quite a bit trickier than any other map in this Grand Prix. Anyway, intern, why don't you start us off? First, we head up the staircase into Upper B. You bunny hop across this hallway, and then you make your way through Upper B. You come out Upper, being careful not to hit your head on that window. And then you need to make your way across the top of these trains straight into Connector. Then through Connector, you make your way into Old Bomb, where you then take a left and another left and then a right into Ivy. Then you bunny hop through Ivy all the way back to Spawn, and then you make your way back into Stairs. And that's how you complete a lap on Train. Anyway, let's just jump into the race. Here we are, folks, the third race on DE Train. This hallway in Upper B is really dangerous. Looks like Molotovs are already going down. Our players running through them. Looks like it's going to get Dalton and Joe. They both go down to that first Molotov about 10 seconds into the first lap. That's going to be severely detrimental to them. Looks like Nick making his way into Connector. Brent and Noah close behind. Nick throwing down a Molotov. Looks like Noah's coming through throwing a flashbang, and Brent has been severely flashed, running into a wall as Nick makes his way around Ivy through Long, and about to start his second lap. Looks like Joe and Dalton are only just starting to begin their first lap once again. Noah starting his second lap, but going down to his own Molotov. That is a serious mistake right there. Looks like he's allowing Brent to catch up, and we're in a close, tight pack once again. Looks like Nick is making his way into Upper, Joe and Dalton. Honestly, I don't think they're going to be able to really make much happen here. They're very, very far behind. Nick making his way into Connector on his second lap. Noah and Brent making their way through Upper B. Joe and Dalton making their way across the trains. Here comes Noah, out Upper, about to go on the trains. Oh, looks like he's fallen down. That stumble could cost him another couple seconds of time. Looks like Brent making his way much cleaner over the top of those trains and into Connector. And here comes Nick starting his third lap. And here comes Dalton starting his second. Noah making his way through Old Bomb on his second lap. Brent also on his second lap, but they are both making their way towards T-Spawn into the stairs to start their third. But looks like Nick is already making his way towards his fourth lap. Noah out Upper. And here comes Brent not too far behind. Looks like Nick starting his 4th lap. Here comes Noah, out upper, hopping towards the trains. He's trying to make up that lost time. Ooh, Brent hitting his head. I don't know. I don't think Brent's really going to be able to catch up here. Looks like Noah already making his way into Ivy. Nick on his 4th lap making his way across the trains. Brent on his 3rd lap making his way around. Noah already starting his 4th lap there. Throwing a Molotov down to try and make some defense plays there. Nick coming around. And yeah, here comes Joe for his 3rd lap, I think. He's very far behind. Brent for his 4th lap. Looks like Nick's coming around to start his 5th. Here's Noah on the player cam making his way through Old Bomb as Nick makes his way for his 5th lap. But Noah is not too far behind. He's coming through Ivy, through Long. He's coming in hot. Here comes Nick coming into Upper B. Yeah, here comes Noah for his 5th lap. This could get really, really close. Looks like Nick is actually slowing down. I don't know if you saw that, but out upper he has slowed his tops, and Noah is not stopping. He is coming fast through upper as Nick is slowly sauntering his way across these trains. Looks like Noah is coming into connector right behind. This could be really close. Really, really close. Can Noah catch Nick? In these final moments of the race, Nick making his way through Ivy, Noah right behind, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It looks like Nick has just enough speed that he is not going to get past. Here he comes. Yep, coming in for a 1st place victory on train. His 1st one, Noah being dethroned for the 1st time in this Grand Prix. Brent's coming around Ivy to finish his final lap. And here comes Joe starting his 4th lap. What a crazy race that was. Looks like Joe might actually beat Dalton in this race. Throwing Molotovs down. Oh, looks like Joe has died. About to start his 5th lap. Looks like he's not moving. So I guess Joe has given up once again. Here comes Dalton finishing in 4th place for a 3rd time. Totally destroying Nick. And it looks like we're going to have another brawl here on train. Another bloody battle. Oh, the humanity. Oh my god. Look at this. Totally brutal. You hate to see it, folks. You hate to see it. Anyway, why don't we throw it to our players to see what they have to say about this race and the one upcoming.
Alright, you got a 1st place victory on train. How do you feel about that?
Woo! It was easy.
How do you feel going into the last race on Dust 2?
You know, I have gotten bested for the last 3 games. But you know, I went into this competition with some confidence. And I think it's important that I keep that confidence. You know, I think that I'm going to pull ahead this game. This is my game.
Looks like we're heading into our final race on Dust 2. How are you feeling going into that? How do you feel going into Dust 2?
Dust 2 is luck based, and that's all there is to it, but I'm lucky, so I'm gonna win.
So you have 1 2nd place victory and 2 1st place victories. With Nick, if he gets a 1st place victory, he'll be able to overcome you. So how do you feel going into Dust 2? Do you think you're going to be able to clinch this victory?
Well, you see, I barely lost to Nick last race. In my opinion, I lost because he cheated. He cheated on lap 1 or whenever he cheated. But you know, because he cheated like that, and because I was so close to beating him, there's 0 way he's gonna get 1st place. You know, everyone else is is pretty good at Dust 2. I'd say I'm decent at it. Nick's decent at it, but Brent's better than Nick. But Brent, out of anybody, would be the guy to get 1st place on this one, because you know he's got the this was the training grounds. If y'all didn't know, this was the training grounds. This is where the idea came to life. And the hops through the doors, there's 3 a lap. those are where you can mess up. But if you can have your speed great through those doors, then you're set. It's a lot easier than the other maps in my opinion, because those are the defining factors, and a lot of it's just reaction time. And even
How do you think you'll fare on Dust 2?
I flew too close to the sun. I'm gonna be honest. I at least I got Joe.
Do you think that Dalton is going to beat you in this next race?
Nah, if there's one player that I'm definitely about to get, I know it's about to come down to like some sort of like battle between us, and I guarantee I'm gonna get him. There's no way he beats me.
Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Once again, things haven't changed much. Noah's still in first place with 14 points, closely followed by Nick with 13 points. Brent's still in third with 9 points, Dalton's still in fourth with 6 points, and Joe in fifth place with 0 points. Our upcoming track is none other than Dust 2. Why don't we go take a look at what we're in for? There couldn't be a better map for our final race than Dust 2, the most famous Counter-Strike map of all. This track's main obstacle is its doors, which are tricky to navigate around. Anyway, intern, show us around the map. You start off in CT spawn and you hop your way towards 8 doors. You then make your way out through long, and then you take a hard left into CT's spawn, making sure not to hit your head on that archway. Then you make your way up this hill into B doors, the last set of doors on your lap. Then you make your way through tunnels, and then after tunnels, you hop up this hill back to T spawn to complete your lap. Before we start our final race, we're gonna listen in on our players to see what they have to say to each other before they begin.
Alright, Joe, do you agree to buy someone a McDonald's case key if you get disqualified every round?
No. Noah. If I don't get disqualified, you're buying me McDonald's. Yes, you can't argue. You can't argue with that.
Alright,
It's
so
a
if
once
you
in
get
a lifetime
disqualified-
opportunity.
If you get disqualified, you open me a McDonald's Happy Meal case in CSGO.
Why do you call cases McDonald's? They're not
Because-
the same thing. See, Noah. See, at McDonald's, you walk up, you pay your $4.50, almost $5, and you know that you're gonna get 2 sandwiches and a small fry. But you know what? You're not gonna get shit with the case.
But if you only open like a case or 2 a week, it's just like, well, I'm just going to get McDonald's right now when I open this case.
What? No, that assumes that you spend a certain amount of money at McDonald's every week. Sometimes I don't even go to McDonald's. Sometimes I go multiple times a week.
Exactly. Sometimes I'll go to McDonald's. I'll open McDonald's once a week. Sometimes I won't even open McDonald's.
You open McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, what do you think this is? What's
How
wrong
many?
with that?
No. How many times do you go to eat at Cases? If you're opening McDonald's, how many times do you go to eat at Cases?
This has gone too far.
I think I've ate like 20
No,
cases.
if you open McDonald's, you eat at Cases. You can't argue with that.
It's true.
That's
It's-
facts. That's facts.
So Noah, my next question is, how many motherfucking times do you eat at Cases a week?
Well, during non-Kona
Wrong
time,
answer. Wrong answer.
During non-Kona time, Noah eats cases like 6 times a week.
Yeah, no,
Oh my God,
it's a
really?
good like.
Noah
that's
eats
at
at
least
Cases 6 times a week.
That's just some Nick propaganda, dude.
No, you
I
probably
mean,
be getting
maybe.
McChickens at Cases. Wait
Yeah,
a minute.
All the time.
I mean, I've gotten at least 100 McChickens.
No,
at
I
Cases.
showed you that. I
Yeah.
literally showed you that. And
You
how to
didn't show me
count in fucking McChickens.
How to count
Don't
McChickens?
act like that wasn't me.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Fuck outta here. Fuck
When
outta
Brent
here.
ordered 9 McChickens instead of ordering 9 McChickens.
What?
Exactly. All right. Presidential decree that says that McDonald's is now Cases.
Yeah. Yeah, and Cases are not McDonald's.
That's just
And
the
we all know that. We all know that.
It's a world
McDonald's
we
is
live
now
in.
Cases.
Eventually, though, and like now when I open McDonald's, like eventually I'm gonna win the McDonald's card. That's my goal.
McDonald's card.
All right, I like 3 Pita Fitty sand dunes, a FAMAS Valence, a McSkillet, and a McDonald's car, please. Then I'd like a McSkillet and a McDonald's car, please.
So up until late in the first semester of my freshman year, I thought that McChickens, like life in McChickens, was certain, because life in other places is like not always certain, you know. But McChickens have been certain for me for a long time.
Yeah.
And then you know what I come to find? I come to find that in San Francisco, McChickens are $2.19.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, Joe, but they also got the hot and spicy McChicken, right?
Yeah, they have both in California.
See, I want the hot and spicy McChicken.
Nick, you can get those in Utah too. The hot and spicy's fire.
I really wish we had that. 'Cause I'd be
Utah
getting
only
that
has the hot and
all
spicy.
day.
I know.
Yeah.
That is a little.
I'd be getting all cases if they had those.
Are we ready
Nick,
to?
I can't-
Are we done
never
talking
had hot
about
spicy.
McDonald's? Are we
Yeah,
done
it's
talking
spicy
about
this
fucking
summer.
McDonald's? Dust 2, our final track on this MKGO Grand Prix. Let's go. Our players are making their way into A long. Looks like Dalton has already been badly flashed. That's going to cost him in this race. He's already far behind. Looks like our players are making their way towards CT right now. Got to be careful not to bonk your head. Ooh, and it looks like Nick and Brent have both hit their head going into CT. That's going to cost them. Looks like Dalton is still holding the 5th place position. Looks like Noah and Nick are making their way up to B right now, followed by Brent and Joe. And of course Dalton bonking on his way into CT. We'll see if he can catch up. Looks like Noah is making his way into the tunnels. Nick followed closely behind Brent and Joe. Brent throwing a Molotov that's not really going to hit anyone. And Dalton, in the same strain, has thrown a smoke that will be absolutely useless. Here's Noah coming up to T-spawn, followed by Nick throwing a flashbang. There goes Noah, completing his first lap onto his second. Here come Brent and Joe out of the tunnels. Nick completing his first lap, closely followed by Brent and Joe. Here comes Dalton. He's very far behind right now. We'll see if he can make something happen. Looks like Noah's making his way through long doors into long with a very, very sizable lead. Comes Nick through the doors, through that Molotov, and Brent with a very clean exit from the doors, but I don't see Joe. I think Brent has increased his lead. Looks like Joe has slowed down significantly. Noah making his way through CT into B. Nick missing his hop there as Brent follows him behind through CT with a lot of speed. Here comes Noah making his way into the tunnels. Nick making his way up to B and has been passed by Brent on this second lap. Here we see Noah making his 3rd lap. Joe on his 2nd lap entering B. Here comes Brent and Nick very, very close to start their 3rd laps. Looks like Noah is actually going to lap Dalton on his way out to long. Here comes Brent and Nick has slowed down significantly, missing hops into the doors. Looks like Brent is going to increase his lead against Nick as well. And Noah taking a lot of time to get in CT. Looks like Brent might actually pass him here as well. Noah making his way up into the doors. Brent right behind, rocketing past Nick in CT. Noah and Brent both in the tunnels. Very close to starting their 4th lap. Here they come. Yeah, and it looks like Brent's gonna pull ahead there, starting their 4th lap. Here comes Nick, start his 4th. Brent entering the doors. Oh, looks like he's stopped there. That's gonna cost him. Looks like Noah is taking the 1st place spot once again. Nick following closely behind. Through that Molotov, doesn't faze him. Here comes Nick, Noah and Brent into CT. Here comes Nick, close behind. Brent making his way into B doors. Noah making his way into B doors. Out through the tunnels, followed by Noah to start their 5th lap very soon. This is becoming a very, very close race. Here comes Brent. Here comes Noah. And looks like Brent has completely stopped dead in his tracks for no reason. This is crazy. This might give Nick a chance to catch up. Looks like Brent's entering the doors, followed by Noah, not fazed by the Molotov in the way, and here comes Nick to start his final lap. Brent slowly making his way through long, followed by Noah, who might actually overtake him. Here comes Nick, barreling out of the door. Looks like Noah has taken first place once again on the final lap. They're making their way towards B, Nick following behind. Here they come. Oh, but looks like Noah has been stopped coming up to the doors, and that's going to allow Brent to get the first place spot once again. Nick also bonking on the door. Brent into tunnels. Noah into tunnels. Here they go, but it looks like it's already been decided, folks. I don't see anyone catching this man. Brent's just been too consistent on this race. And yep, here he comes, finishing in first place. Noah finishing in a respectable second place, and Nick in a unfortunate third place. Joe making his way up to start his fifth lap. Will this be the end of his losing streak?
Alright, let's
Who
see
is
who wins.
this? This is Joe.
Joe, what lap are you on?
This is my final lap.
Sick.
Oh, it's
D-Dog. What
There
lap
goes
are you on?
D-Dog, right behind.
Yeah.
Catch him! Catch him! Catch him! Looks like we've got an exciting last lap here, folks. Joe making his way into long, closely followed by Dalton. The stakes are high. Will Dalton get another fourth place finish, or will Joe finally get that two-pointer? Joe's not letting up as he makes his way through CT. Dalton's close behind, but will he be able to catch him?
I'm beating him. This is my race. I at least I got Joe.
Joe's already making his way into the tunnels. I don't know, folks. I don't know if Dalton's going to be able to catch him. But wait, here Dalton comes, not but 3 feet behind, and now passing Joe, coming up to T-spawn. What a turn of events. This is probably the greatest comeback in MKGO history. Well, folks, that was an exciting final race. Let's see how everyone's points compare. Looks like Noah is our winner, in first place with 18 points. Nick in second place with 16 points. Brent in third place with 14 points. Dalton in fourth with 8 points. And Joe in fifth place with 1 point. Anyways, this has been a great Grand Prix to commentate and to watch. I've been John Kendro. Stay frosty and brush your teeth. Goodbye.
Do you have any comments on your overall victory?
I went into this thinking that everyone else would have no chance. I got 2 first places out the gate, almost a third first place in train, and a decent performance in Dust 2 minus the last lap. I'm glad with my performance. I ain't surprised because I got the B hops on lock, I got the Mario Kart on clock, and I got everything on lock and on the thought of going it through the lot. I'm gonna freestyle till I win the race. I'm going through the face. I just hit this guy in the face with the knife.
Ready? Let's go.